This one is heavier than I thought.
It's like when a child does the whole noodle arms thing, like their limbs get all loosey-goosey to try to mess with your center of gravity.
Well, regardless, at least they're taken care of now. They still won't move for a few hours, so they're not going to be any threat besides their eyeballs looking at you.
Yeah, can they hear us?
Oh, they can definitely hear us, but they can't talk back. All they can do is blink and move their eyes. Luckily for me, that paralysis that I have inside these arms helps out a lot.
Wait, you reapplied the paralysis?
Absolutely, I don't trust that thing at all.
I guess that's fair. The thing is, bypassed all the security measures I had at the pizzeria except for the doors. But I wouldn't have been surprised if I found a way to bypass it eventually.
Yeah. I was given a lot of information about this mimic specifically, so having all that information stored helps a lot.
If I remember correctly, this is the original one.
From what I've been told, yes. Other than that, Larry knows all the other information. If he chooses to tell me that or not, we'll wait to see.
Yeah, I have questions, by the way.
Feel free to ask him. You've also got Murray in my brain. So anything goes a certain way that Murray doesn't like, you always just tell me to not tell you.
Okay. First of all, why do you look like my brother? Glamrock Freddy.
That is more of an Edwin Murray choice. I didn't really tell you exactly why I look this way. I'm assuming it's just because of the piece that's left around. Edwin doesn't really create animatronics anymore. There's only a select few of us that he actually has and he uses. So I'm assuming it's just from additional parts. I also don't go by Glamrock Freddy, so please don't call me Glamrock Freddy.
No, I would prefer not to since, that's my brother.
And from what Murray has told me, there are many, many Freddys, so I assume I don't want to be next in line to be called that.
Nope, there's me, Freddy, Toy Freddy, Funtime Freddy, Fredbear, Lefty, what was his name? Ned Bear. Then there's also the evil ones like Phantom. Then there's also, Nightmare Freddy.
Murray is telling me that he already knows those information, so if you could stop listing off all of them, that'd be great.
Alright, but yes. So, I would assume if you were to be given anything, you'd probably just be called Shattered or something.
Well, actually, I have a nickname. I guess a code name. I go by Alpha.
Really?
Yes.
I guess that's an upgrade. Often enough, my brothers call it Beta. Anyway.
Even so, what else do you have for me? Keep in mind, Edwin is always here watching. He can see through all of our eyes, so...
Why the secrecy? When I found who I thought was Edwin, why did they do it? I mean, the fact that they even had a person that they either hired, paid, or asked to do the fill-in for them.
At the moment, I'm receiving information from Murray. It appears that, from what Murray is telling me, the reason why he did it is because he doesn't like people knowing where he is. He's very secretive with his identity. So, apparently that was a double that you had met, which I had been informed about.
I guess that makes sense. He's supposed to be an old man, and that one kind of looked young, if I'm going to be honest.
It appears that during that time period, you were investigating the whereabouts of Edwin Murray, correct?
Yes, because we were trying to look into Jackie's origins. They were curious,
Yes.
and I was curious.
From what he has told me right now, is a reason why he didn't want you to find him.
And still don't, I'm guessing.
Classified.
Of course. Of course! And I guess another question is, why did he build the Mimic? Why is Jackie like this? No, not Jackie. Just the Mimic.
Just the mimic. 1 second, waiting for an answer from Mr. Murray. Apparently that is also classified.
Are you kidding me? Alright. Then what was his purpose then?
1 second. According to Murray, the purpose of the mimic was to entertain his child. I believe this is information you already know.
Yes, and the Mimic was not the direct cause of the accident, but from what I was able to learn, Edwin blamed them for it.
Alright, 1 moment. Edwin is being quiet. It's unusual.
Guessing
Ah, yes. Apparently, from what they have stated, yes, that is the reason. Apparently, there was a lot of trauma that dwelled between Edwin and the Mimic, which has led to many issues, apparently.
Glamrock Bonnie once told me that he was the accidental reason for all the mimics waking up. That he had found the remains of one of the mimics and accidentally woke it up, which caused a chain reaction to wake the other copies up. But from what Jackie told me, they were always in storage. So that just begs the question, why were there copies made, and why were they shut down, or who shut them down?
Most of that information, from what I could tell, is classified, but I can state that the location we're in right now is where that said event has happened.
This is where the other mimics were shut down at?
Apparently so, which makes it more intriguing that I was not told this by Murray, let alone why we made our base here to begin with. Interesting.
Maybe you are a mimic.
I very much doubt that. I'm able to check out my own diagnostics, and nothing matches any of the mimics that I've seen or even found. As far as I know, I'm just a normal endoskeleton with a little bit of emotion.
Then answer me this.
Sure.
How do we help Jackie? How do we free Jackie from the mimic?
Well, from what I have been ordered to do, as of this moment, was to find and basically paralyze the mimic for the moment. But those orders can drastically change depending on your next answer.
And what's the question then?
Mary's original orders were to find and capture. We've done that. The next objective was to use my own whereabouts about this mimic, judge them, question them, see what information I could get. But from what I've noticed and from what I ran into, it seemed to be very hostile and out of control.
You can say that again. The mimic used to be held back. They were just observing for a long while, letting Jackie just do their own thing. Then, bam, this happened. This incident.
We were monitoring Jackie from a distance, so the development of the mimic taking over quite rapidly must have had to do with something.
This wasn't the first time. Jackie lost control to this mimic 2 times before. Once was at the pizzeria where they attempted to exterminate me the first time, but then Jackie was able to wrest back control. The second time was to give me a warning about an oncoming event that was happening with Phantom Freddy.
Interesting that the mimic had learned so much information.
They somehow knew everything about Phantom, which is what I was concerned.
1 second, Freddy. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Yes. Yes. Okay. Alright. So, from what Murray just told me, Jackie seems to be more of a threat than what we anticipated.
Wait, Jackie or the mimic?
Well, Jackie, Mimic, doesn't really matter what you call them. Regardless, they're a threat. Way higher than we anticipated. Based off of the information you just told me, it would seem like a better solution to shut them down and probably break them down into parts than to attempt any sort of savior.
I won't allow that. Okay? The mimic, I understand. But Jackie is innocent in this. Yes, has Jackie hurt people before? Yes. But they've been learning. Okay, Murray, if you are listening, if you can see this, look me straight in the eyes and tell me that you have not seen Jackie evolving, becoming better, becoming a better person. Can you really get rid of that and not feel like you've become the monster?
Second, Freddy. Mary is telling me that he understands your emotions, but the Mimic is also learning things as well. Jackie and the Mimic are connected way more than you realize. Just because there's 2 different people in there, in a sense, is still technically one body with one mind. He said it might have to do with something about you guys being bioorganic.
Yes.
Tell me, you're not just full robot, correct? Like me.
No, and that should be an indication since I have a daughter.
Interesting information.
Jackie has been developing more, and as you probably have noticed in your observations, Jackie has began to consume things.
We've noticed them drinking stuff recently.
Because Murray, Edwin, I don't care what you want to be called. There's one thing that you would be doing more than just getting rid of the mimic. You would be killing a person. Can you really live in your conscience that you've killed a person like that?
Edwin has gone silent. But I will state from my own directives and from what I've learned, the choice is not mine, and it's not really Mary's either, nor is it yours.
It is our decision. What we decide right now to do will decide their life.
But it could also decide the lives of many others, Fred. We could save one person today, but we could lose 100 tomorrow.
And we have to take that risk, because if we don't, if you make that decision, Edwin, if you make that decision, you become just as bad as they are. You become worse than the Mimic, because the Mimic is willing to kill callously, with a cold heart. The decision you're making right now, that is the same.
Yes. Now, are you sure, sir? Okay. Fine. Edwin said that he agrees with you to some extent, but we can't just sit here and discuss what's right and wrong. We need actual solutions. So if you have any propositions, Edwin's willing to listen.
Okay. You created the Mimic. You must have programmed the original program that birthed it. You must have created some kind of backdoor protocol? Some kind of thing that can flush out the Mimic, reset it, something, right?
That information is classified, from what he said.
Of course. Solution my ass. I mean, can you tell me anything of use that isn't classified that could help us? Anything at all?
Okay. He said he might be willing to give you more information depending on the solutions you come up with and if Alpha and the rest of the crew deem them to be useful solutions.
Okay, you may not be able to come up with a solution by yourself, but you're not the only technical expert here. There are others who can help. There are the Aftons. Michael Afton. He has been working with animatronics for a while. In fact, if you've been observing us, you have probably noticed that he created an animatronic that has become fully bioorganic called Frankie. And he is beyond anything that you probably could have ever guessed. He can probably help you, if you allow him, especially since he's been working on Frankie and Glamrock Freddy, who are both bioorganic animatronics.
Mary said to watch your tone with the word Afton. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but apparently it's a touchy subject for Mary.
I'm guessing you don't want to hear about his father either, since you probably already know him.
I'm going to assume that's probably not best to talk about.
Okay, then there are the other animatronics. Funtime Foxy and Glamrock Chica. They've made it a business to work on other animatronics. They can probably help as well.
So there's animatronics working on other animatronics?
Yeah, they own a repair shop.
This world is getting more and more interesting the more I learn about it.
I would recommend Moon, but he is currently in another dimension right now, and he probably is out of our contact in a fast manner right now.
I see.
Actually, does your creator know about Sun and Moon?
One moment. Yes, he says. He does know who they are.
Does he know that they were based off of his original blueprints of the Mimic? We've discovered this a little while ago, that the Sun and Moon animatronics were based off of his original schematics that Fazbear probably used to create them, or their creator.
What Murray says, he does not know that information, but this information infuriates him.
Oh, I'm guessing. Too bad he can't claim copyright or anything.
So, Mr. Murray, with those solutions by Freddy, do I have the order to exterminate, or do I hold off?
There is one other thing.
Okay.
I also have experience with a second mind, with two people occupying one space. I think you are sending video feed footage to Murray, correct? To Edwin?
Correct. He's in his own location watching through my eyes and the rest of the animatronics that he has running around. He can hear and see everything.
You already know the existence of magic, correct?
Yes, he knows a bit of it, but doesn't know everything.
Well, I can help with that, but because of it, there was a second mind born in my head. There's me, then there's me. I'm known as Shadow Freddy. A second personality born.
who was also one who wished for death and destruction. But I've learned to cope with what is happening around me.
This is very intriguing. I hope Murray explains more of this stuff to me as time goes on. This is very intriguing.
Sounds like you have your own inquisitive mind.
Well, I refuse to become bioorganic like the rest of you. Same with the rest of my crew. We stay in line as animatronics so that way we can stick to what we're best at. We can continue to work in the shadows instead of becoming like you, technically, I guess. And if we also lived like you guys, then the whole Freddy was a thing would probably be an issue, as I'm sure we look like other people you might have met.
Yes, it would become a problematic situation.
And I believe it is best for us to stay this way.
But you also have to understand one thing. The more you learn, the more inquisitive you become. Be careful that you don't start seeing yourself as more than just machines then. Or else the magic, just like it happened to Jackie, will start taking measures. Will start reading your subconscious differently then.
I get information about how, but I don't think it's going to be hard for me to stay animatronic when I can see all my parts taken. Right?
Good.
Edwin Murray said that that was an interesting conversation and that he is willing to let Jackie, you said?
Jackie, yes.
They're willing to let Jackie stay. A lot for now. But there's gonna be some precautions set.
Whatever we need to do to keep them alive so we can find a proper solution. Not one that ends with them being scrapped and taken apart.
He's delighted to hear you say that. Precaution number 1, Jackie will stay here until further notice.
I guess it's fair. They can't exactly run anything with me, not the pizzeria, and definitely not our channel.
And the other thing is, too, is if you take Jackie home, I don't know if that would be a very good idea.
No.
With the state that they're in, they'll probably end up attacking you and possibly killing anyone in their way.
I know.
And we don't want to risk that.
No, I agree with that. Jackie right now, as much as they become a part of our home, they are too dangerous to keep around my daughter and my wife. I can't risk them.
Second precaution.
You mean third?
Second. You've only done one. Pay attention. Second one is that you will only come here when we tell you you can come here. Don't just visit this location all willy-nilly. We will let you know when to be here, so that way you can learn as much information about Jackie as we can, so we can find some sort of solution.
What assurance do I have that you won't just decide that to go behind my back and just dismantle Jackie? Just to get rid of them while I'm
A
gone?
moment. Murray said that he does have a connection with this animatronic, whether he likes to admit it or not. And he does want to find some sort of solution instead of just scrapping. It's a risky solution, but a solution nonetheless. Plus, he, for some reason, wants to give Jackie a fair chance. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it's a change of heart from your speech or whatever, but something is convincing him to not immediately destroy them now. Final precaution that we're gonna do. Number 3, when it is appropriate, I'm going to invite you back here when the rest of my crew is here. You'll get to see the rest of us. You can ask us any questions you want, but it's going to be the same kind of basis here. If it is something that we are not allowed to answer, Edwin will interfere. But I think it would be best for you to meet the rest of my crew, so that way you can have some sort of thoughts of your own about what's going on here. Maybe it'll help you think straight. But for now, Jackie's going to stay here. You are going to go back home to your family, and you can tell them whatever you want. You can tell them you had a day off. Maybe Jackie fell and got hurt in the hospital. We don't really care what you tell them. Just let them know they need to be on their guard in case things end up going bad. So we can do our best to keep Jackie in line, but the moment I run out of that paralysis stuff, it's gonna be a lot harder to restrain them.
Especially with how slippery they are. With my experience with Jackie, I can't ever lock them in a room, because they always find a way out.
And they can mimic other people.
And as a precaution to you, and to Edwin as well, keep them away from their box. I don't know if you were the one that designed that box, Edwin, but that box has its own separate, I don't know, universe in there or something. It has a bunch of tools and gizmos in there for him.
Will do. I've been told that it is up to me to confiscate said box, if it appears.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, then for now, Mr. Fazbear, go home and be with your family. And be safe, and we'll inform you of any updates that we can. But I should see you within the next day or so, once my crew officially comes back. We will have introductions.
Very well. Oh,
Be safe.
one last thing.
Yes.
From one father to another. You should not blame yourself for what happened to your son. But at the same time, you still shouldn't blame the others, for they had nothing to do with it. I'm sure your son would have wanted that.